Alright everyone, we start off today with the obvious main story here, which is you might have heard Jen Psaki's words yesterday, speaking of course for Beijing Biden's Asterisk administration, with regards to misinfo on the internet. And apparently the Biden administration is now, first and foremost, they're actively flagging posts on Facebook that contain what they class as disinformation. That was from the other day. But now they are openly coercing big tech firms to proactively go after what they class as misinformation now. Considering the language we've seen over the last year, this doesn't start and end with COVID stuff. It gets well within the realm of politics. Certainly would have to do with the election, honk honk, of course, and policing political speech in the broader general sense. And I'm thinking to myself, imagine that this had happened when W was president. There'd be like a million leftoids marching up Pennsylvania Avenue. I bet that none of the anti-SJW leftists will even have anything to say about this. A bunch of sellouts at this point. First and foremost, before we get into this more and bash and lambaste the Biden administration, low-hanging fruit, I know, but this is definitely a 9 out of 10 on the importance scale, I would say. Keep in mind that I make 4 videos a day, but only 2 end up on YouTube. If you're watching this video on YouTube, both in the description and down below in a pinned comment, you'll find links to 4 other video hosting sites that I use. Also, there's merch available now. That'll be in the description too. Occasionally, I'll make sure to mention that for new viewers or whatever. I don't want to say that at the beginning of every video because mainly I'm here to make videos, not sell mugs. It's just that you should get a good quality mug so you can clank along. Just saying I'm biased about the design. But this is, keep in mind what this represents, this particular story. This is fascism. While Antifa's busy burning down Wendy's because somebody died of a fentanyl overdose, actual fascism is being put on full public display, even spoken of with glowing praise. Here's the thing. The government cannot, we cannot conceive of a time in which the government would not misuse the ability to coerce multi-billion-dollar firms that control the modern public square. By the way, my thoughts are manifold on this. First and foremost, this completely discredits the idea of private business. Well, they're a private business, you know, they're not a bakery that has to bake the trans wedding cake, so that private business, fuck them, but these Silicon Valley billionaires, private individuals, it's a private business, they can do what they want. If you don't like it, make your own internet. And if you don't like that, make your own bank, make your own Facebook, and so forth. Anyway, that's kind of discredited when the government is openly coercing those firms to police political speech. Let's look at what disinfo is. Let's get past the use of that definition by Biden and look at what he's really saying. Is it illegal? This is sort of under 230. This would be the litmus test. Is it illegal or obscene or spammy or any of these other things that are explicitly talked about in tech lexicons? Do any of those labels apply to someone simply replicating an opinion that may have come from a foreign state, and that's the insinuation, or a domestic source, that happens to be wrong initially for potentially malevolent purposes? No. It's not illegal. It's not porn. It's not spam. It's not anything. It's a political opinion. In many cases, what they're talking about aren't even political opinions. It's an opinion on medicine or something like that. Some of these opinions that would be labeled disinfo a year ago, all of a sudden, they come back in vogue. The WHO chief, literally the other day, what did he come out and say? It was like 2 days ago. Oh, you know, back in March of last year when we ruled out the possibility of a Wuhan lab origin for COVID, yeah, we were wrong about that. How many people brought that up on just YouTube alone and got banned or had a video removed because of that? Now it's been shown, hey, it probably came from the lab. But at the time it was labeled disinformation. Well, you're just a Trumpanzee, you're wearing a tinfoil hat, you hate Chinese people, you're a xenophobe, they tried to say. Disinfo, bigotry, these buzz terms are in many cases legally meaningless. This is fascism. This is the fusion of government and corporate power for one particular ideological purpose. If this were being done, can you imagine if W had come out and said, well, we're going to go on this newfangled internet fucking thing, and we're going to start kicking them hippie-trippy folks off because they's repeating lies by Osama bin Laden. It's disinfo, says Bush. Osama and Saddam Hussein are convincing people to go against the war effort, and we must stop them. Disinfo my ass. It's meaningless. The vast majority of it, if this is about vaccination, who fucking gives a goddamn shit? At the end of the day, people who are hesitant to get vaccinated won't become less so because Jen Psaki comes out and says that she's trying to get Mark Zuckerberg to ban more people. That'd probably have the opposite effect. It's going to make people nervous. If this is about disinfo in the broader political sense, well, those evil Russians, they're at it again. And no other state ever conducts propaganda, by the way. To be clear, it's always Putin, Putin, Putin. Putin has a disinfo campaign to try to reduce Biden's perceived credibility on the world stage. Quick, billionaires, engage in explicitly hostile action towards private individuals. That'll solve the problem. It's not solving a problem. It certainly undermines the very concept of Section 230 in every possible way. It's dystopian and fucking ethically wrong, and it's fascism. Literal fascism. Look the definition of. This is closer to Mussolini than Trump ever got. I remember Mango Mussolini was one of the leftoids' favorite things to say. Trump never attempted to get people banned for disagreeing with him. Biden is apparently so thin-skinned and the people around him so nervous that they just want to run roughshod over everyone on the internet for otherwise legal speech. These are U.S. citizens we're talking about. How can you possibly justify the liberal argument of it's a private business, they can do what they want? Number one, when the government's coercing them into politically motivated actions, regardless of what pragmatism you think is behind it, that is coercion. And number two, again, they get taxpayer subsidies, especially from California. They platform goods and services that are taxpayer funded. They platform public individuals, public figures that are taxpayer funded. At what point does a person not understand that the situation is purely legally wrong? This goes well beyond just, hey, the government has made some vague suggestion that big tech firms should do more about extremism or something. Okay, that's a suggestion. They're not suggesting. They're basically commanding big tech to censor people and opinions, some of which are explicitly protected under the First Amendment's right to a free press, specifically in the sense of tech more than speech, actually, that are U.S. citizens. They're explicitly protected. I'm not talking about, oh, well, they banned some Russian trolls, and if they don't like it, fuck them because they're not protected by the First Amendment. Okay, maybe so. But U.S. citizens, I thought, were. But, Biden doesn't give a shit about the Constitution. He wipes his ass with it, probably. He obviously doesn't like the Fourth. He's trying to get the DOJ and all these other groups to gun after people who don't like him. He explicitly is going against the First. Second Amendment, he's been an opponent of for quite some time. That goes without saying. Right to fair trial. Biden and all the Democrats keep weighing in prematurely, usually while the jury's not sequestered, on hot-button politicized criminal trials. Like with Rittenhouse, they're trying to get Trump to condemn him before a jury was convened. Yeah, by the way, that wouldn't have caused a mistrial if the president had done that. There should have been a mistrial in Chauvin's case based on Maxine Waters' statements. She openly threatened a jury. Literally openly threatened a jury. The 10th Amendment, they're trying to federalize the elections. What part of the Constitution, other than maybe quartering soldiers in people's homes, isn't being undermined? Closest thing to that is the now perpetual and likely permanent D.C. strike force there that surrounds Beijing Biden. The most popular president ever needs to be surrounded by 12-foot fences topped with razor wire and guarded by people with machine guns on a daily basis. Just to be clear, that's necessary because he's a very popular man and everyone would be so upset if anything happened. That's the reason why. Just take it to the bank. Now, this is a literal textbook fascism. I find it funny because, again, a couple days ago, Stelter's like, well, authoritarian regimes often try to ban internet access, like restrict people from using the internet in order to silence criticism. What the fuck is this about? It's the same goddamn shit. The government is telling the billionaires, hey, please ban these people. Here's a list of names. I hope I'm on that goddamn list. It's good to be on the right side of history. Temporarily inconvenient? Maybe. But in the long term, you come out smelling like a rose. All those people that were called pinkos and subversives and unpatriotic and stupid and you're a conspiracy theorist and you hate America, all those people back then in the 2000s when we invaded Iraq, we remember them quite fondly. But at the time, the majority of the population thought they were evildoers because Bush told them so. Daddy Bush said, we have to go fight him over there because, Saddam Hussein financed 9/11 and shit, so let's go overthrow him. Apparently Saddam Hussein's hiding place. His tunnel is now a meme of some sort. I don't know why. And I was against it, and sometimes get called a hippie, sometimes get called unpatriotic for it. Well, I mean, who is on the right side of history? Even the Republicans won't defend the decision anymore. So fuck it. That's about all. Peace out.